I remember clicking the link to this study, not knowing it's about to change my life forever. As I kept reading it, I was wondering why nobody was talking about it. If you still can't tell about the thumbnail, it's a problem that's always been present in this sport. I'm talking about staph, and this NIH study claims to reduce staph by 95%. But check this, without impacting your microbiome. And this is really a special thing to consider because one, antibiotics kill your gut health.
Been on the antibiotics and they just make me terrible.
And two, it may be a way to prevent the disease in a population that are prone to staph. The study talks about nursing homes and hospital beds, but if you've been around the block in the combat sport, I think you are pretty familiar with what I'm talking about. If you're new to it, buckle up because I'm about to tell you how staph can ruin your life. I know because it did ruin mine. And for the last 2 years, I've been on a mission trying to uncover why staph is so hard to get rid of and what we can do about it. In this video, I'll talk about why staph is truly the biggest problem in combat sport, what the Thailand study is all about, and what it could mean to the community as a whole. So join me as I'm trying to build the first staphylopedia.
This week's topics: staph infections.
Staph infection.
Staph infection.
Staph infection led to the death of a top state worker.
And a lot of pain and suffering from something that I didn't even know I was suffering from.
30% of the human population carries Staph aureus on their skin or in their nasal cavity naturally.
Just because it's all around us doesn't mean MRSA is harmless.
I give staph, I don't get staph. Calm the down.
Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA.
That's staph. That is fucking staph.
An attack alarm signal can trigger certain bacteria to become dormant and more resilient to antimicrobial.
And then you get staph again, and then you take more antibiotics, and then it wipes out your stomach even worse, and then you get staph again. So it's like a cycle where you just keep getting staph and keep fucking up your immune system in your stomach.
Breaking down the information for you and telling you what you need to know to keep you healthy.
But quickly, for the people who don't know, staph is a bacteria, usually known in the grappling scene as a skin infection. It manifests as boils, pimples that are quite nasty. If you see your friend with a spider bite, but there's no spider around, did he ever get bitten? And because we are usually used to ingrown hairs or acne, we usually dismiss it. Really, first-timers are slow to act on it. I personally found out the hard way how staph is so hard to get rid of. I got staph 4 times in 6 months after only 8 months in jiu-jitsu. I had a small pimple that started on my wrist that hurt a little more than usual. Picked up pretty quickly, then it was staph. Like, staph wasn't a mystery at the gym that I was training at. So when I had it, I pretty much knew I had to act quick. Took a break from training and started doing research on home remedy because I hate the idea of taking antibiotics and I hate the idea of waiting in the ER. So I saw that if you put a garlic on your staph infection, it would magically disappear. What I did is that I took my staph infection, cut it, put a garlic on it, season it. No, I'm just kidding. Took my girlfriend's pad and put it on top of it. Low-key, it worked. Like, the pimple got smaller until the next week where it got like 10 times bigger. Then it spread to my lap and to my girlfriend. And then we were in the ER taking antibiotics. It saved a few minutes. Some antibiotics worked for me, not for her. We kept getting affected on and off, sometimes not at the same time. And I'm talking months of difference. Like, why does she have it when I don't even have it? Am I not the person that usually needs to be more infected because I'm more exposed? And this is why I think staph is the biggest issue in combat sport. There's such a massive uncertainty of when you're gonna get it and how bad you're gonna get it. And honestly, compared to athletes I've talked to who nearly lost a leg and went in a coma, I got it pretty good. But what's worse is that it's one of those risks that you never feel that you have truly control over. Listen, I had many concussions, but it only impacted me. And no one should bear the responsibility of the risk another person takes. Goes without saying, step off the mat when you have staph. Clean the mats, take a shower. But then again, I saw the cleanest people from the cleanest gym get life-threatening staph recurrently. How come? So I really started to go into a deep dive, and then I found this study. Probiotic for pathogen-specific Staphylococcus aureus decolonization in Thailand, a phase 2 double-blind randomized placebo-controlled trial. If you understand science, a phase 2 double-blind randomized placebo-controlled trial is a solid study. But if you're like me, you probably didn't understand the beginning. What probiotic? What does decolonization even mean? Why in Thailand? Thailand staph is crazy. The people that I've met that told me about this staph swear that it was the worst staph they ever had. But what if I told you that the countryside of Thailand has a lower staph percentage than the US by nearly half? Would you believe me? I mean, 12% in the countryside of Thailand versus 30% for the average American. Why is that? Well, it has to do with bacteria that's in their soil that modern society prevents us from getting. Bacillus subtilis is a soil bacteria that ends up in food that has not been overly sprayed by pesticide and antiseptics. And what the researcher found was crazy. They found out there's a competitive exclusion from Bacillus subtilis towards Staphylococcus aureus, which basically means that the bacillus, the soil bacteria, outcompetes staph. This prevents staph from overgrowing and taking place in the environment. And if you think about evolution, it makes sense. Like bacteria competes for food and space.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us.
Most antibiotics come from bacteria and fungus found in the soil.
People were using such things as moldy soybean curds to treat boils and other infections. And surprisingly enough, the treatment was often successful.
But this is what's even crazy with this one. It does not even kill staph. Let me explain. You don't want to kill staph. Usually, antibiotics work by killing or directly affecting a bacteria that pushes it towards evolution. You might think this is great, and it is. Like, you have an acute infection, you want to treat that shit. But it comes at a cost. It creates an environment where only the strong staph survives, and this staph reproduces and makes other staph resistant to antibacteria. So basically, the environment clears off any competition from the other bacteria and make this bacteria even stronger. This is what makes antibiotic staph spread like wildfire. And even crazier than that, to further resist the antibiotic, staph produce a gooey substance called biofilm. This biofilm is an extracellular membrane that allows it to stick to surfaces, and it protects it from antibiotics and the immune systems. It helps staph build a strong and large colony that breaks off to infect other body parts, produce toxins, and then pass its resistant genes to other staph. And this is what's tricky about staph. It doesn't want to produce this biofilm alone. It needs enough resources and help to produce it, or else it won't be able to stand the whole strength of the immune system. It hangs out in stealth mode waiting for a callback. How does it know? Well, it uses something called quorum sensing. To simplify it, it shoots molecules and waits for others to respond. If it feels it had enough responses, it changes its behavior from passive to aggressive. It becomes a big problem for humans. But what if we can block this communication from happening? Could it become a friendly neighbor that doesn't disrupt peace? Meaning no more bad things produced by staph. That's exactly what the Bacillus subtilis does. It produces a fungicide, a compound that blocks the communication. This was proven in vitro in rat studies and then phase 2 clinical trial, the Thailand study. And the results are nothing that I've ever seen before. I want to show you this graph. This is where the staph in the gut started, and this is where it ended. Nearly 97% reduction. That's near antibiotic level. But what's crazy is look what it did to the staph that was in the nose. 65% reduction with only taking it orally. But how? Well, there is this theory that pushes that the gut is the main reservoir of the staph. From the gut, it spreads out everywhere. But nonetheless, what's even crazier is that it doesn't even affect the good bacteria inside of your gut. This is crucial because other bacteria in your gut affects your immune system, your skin health, your mood, your focus, your energy. I don't know if you've tried to train on antibiotics, but it is brutal.
That compromises your endurance for sure.
Even worse, the feeling of letting somebody that's worse than you make you tap out of exhaustion is purely disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach. But that's a video another day. It's nearly 5 a.m. Been doing that shit all night. Another fucking rabbit hole of research. It's like I'm in school again. So many videos to be made, so many papers to read, but yet so few brain cells to be kept. Remember that, kids. Let's focus back on this one. What can you retain from this video is that it might change the way that we treat staph as a long-term strategy. Even the principal investigator of the National Institute of Health said,
"We believe maybe that specifically people who suffer from recurring Staphylococcus aureus skin infections, maybe atopic dermatitis as well, that they might actually benefit from that." Now, you would have to take it basically the whole time because Staphylococcus aureus will always come back. The nice difference here is that you don't want to smear steroids and antibiotic for longer periods of time on your skin, but taking the bacillus for a longer time doesn't really cause any harm. So this would be a much more long-term suppressing the Staph aureus in general so that it cannot come back. So we'll push to get this trial done.
And yet again, to be proven in phase 3 clinical trial. But you do you, I do me. That's what I do. And that's the crucial aspect I'm trying to tell fighters and grapplers. If we keep treating staph the way we do, we can expect a world where it does not work.
So you take the antibiotics and it wipes out the good bacteria in your stomach. And then your immune system is trying to fix that. So then your immune system's low. It's not as strong as it usually is. And I'm training all the time, so I'm always just run down. And then you get staph again. And then you take more antibiotics. And then it wipes out your stomach even worse. So then your immune system's on overdrive trying to fix it. And then you get staph again. So it's like a cycle where you just keep getting staph and keep fucking up your immune system in your stomach.
In the near future, staph can become resistant to all antibiotics, especially the broad spectrum ones. The WHO said by 2050 we'll probably have like 50 million deaths due to antibiotic resistant bacteria. So my personal non-advice as a non-licensed practitioner is to talk to your doctor. Make sure that he takes an antibiogram before giving you the antibiotics. But I'm also hearing the researcher of the study that says that you have nothing to lose by trying the probiotics.
And I feel very uncomfortable, telling people what they should buy and to try that, and always say, please go to your doctor. On the other hand, you don't do anything wrong if you swallow bacillus. So it's, yeah, in this case, it cannot do any harm anyway.
So I'm on a mission to make this probiotic available for anyone really. Grapplers, strikers, anybody that's a scrapper, that's trying to have a better immune system, better skin health, better overall energy to tackle the day. Final words, if you have staph, don't be stupid, talk to a professional healthcare provider. But also take care of yourself, bud. And that is what this page is all about. What's preventing martial artists from being on the mats, and what the latest science has to say about that. Right now I'm focusing about staph because that's the issue that broke my mind the most, and hopefully we'll solve this issue before staph becomes resistant to all antibiotics. Definitely not a future I want to be part of. Some Last of Us looking ass shit. Feel free to comment your deepest question on the subject, and I'm wishing you to never be missing in action. Also, YouTube is pretty good at telling you what to watch next, so maybe they're probably instructive, probably some bullshit, I don't know. Cheers.